the board more motivational. You can teach them to stay on the place command before you start the barking. So that can be done young. How to go to your cater board. Like how to run and jump on your cater board. That's called a cater board thing. So once they're good on that, then I don't have anything. I just have the 2 chairs for straight. And now I'm getting my clean hold and bark without any conflict, because obviously he's not in aggression with me. I mean, he's barking. But then when Jose comes out, because I'm still working with Jose the whole time I'm doing this, but that's separate. So he's on the table, and that dog's very aggressive on the table. So he already understands his aggression with Jose, and when I bring him in the blind now, that aggression's transferring, but he knows to be tormented. And plus, Jose has my e-collar. If he touches the sleeve, I don't like anybody else giving my dogs commands. I heard in the beginning when I first started Renee, helpers would say the dog needs to respect the helper. And I'm like, now I disagree with that. No, I respect me. So I'm like, I'll give an example. This dog Shocks. There was a guy named Juan at Creative Kennel. He was a small guy, and he was certified. He wanted to do a trial. And Shocks was already qualified, so I said, okay, you can do the long bite. And he was probably 140 pounds. Shocks was pretty strong. He was about a 85-pound dog. And Juan caught him beautifully, driving him. And I've never had to use 2 out commands ever in my life in a trial, ever. Of all my trials, I've never had to do 2 out commands. Juan looked, he was having a hard time locking up. And he looked like he locked up, and I went, ouse! And Shocks didn't let go. I'm like, what a weird feeling. I've never had this. And it looked like he was trying to lock up again. And I went, ouse. He didn't out again. I'm like, I'm going to freaking fail. Oh my goodness. And he locked up finally, and I went, ouse. And Shocks let go. And afterwards, I put Shocks up, and somebody said, Joel, that wasn't Shocks' fault. Juan couldn't lock up. And I said, bullcrap. I said out. I don't care what Juan did. This is my bad training. I'm not throwing Juan under the bus. We taught the dog to be strong. Juan was trying his best, but it was disrespect to me because I said ouse. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when I say ouse, you ouse. I don't care what the helper. So Kyle and I worked on a noodle arm a lot after that. Mm-hmm. In the middle, when I say ouse, Shocks, you pop off. But that was a telltale thing, which means respect me. If I don't have the respect here as the handler with the ball, yeah, good luck with aggression. I mean, yeah, that's not going to happen well. But all these things are creating what? Games. I have that thing so low with him. I'm just tapping him like, so I'm not going to fry him. I'm glad he's having fun. The rules will become more intense as he gets older, but I don't want to ruin the drive, and maybe I'm getting older and I baby my dogs more, but why would I want to kill him for being enthusiastic? Mm-hmm. But we said this, I don't know if it was 2 days ago we said this. Yeah, it was, but it's worth saying again, even with Frank being here. If we all said, what was your favorite teacher growing up? We had all come up with the same teacher. All of us. Learning was fun. There was rules in the classroom. The class never got out of control. The learning was fun. All of us would come up with the same teacher, even if it's in college. In college, the learning game is going to be different, like now an M&M for knowing your ABCs. So, but the professor's going to make it interesting. So I want to be fun with my dogs, but there's still rules. So the steps that I do are just for my brain. So I don't like to teach subtraction till you know addition. I don't like to teach multiplication till you know subtraction. So some people, and it works well for them, and I'm not putting this down, I'm really not, it's just not for me. They teach everything and it's sloppy, and they tighten it up as they go. So, but I don't even teach another thing until I have focus. So mine's a very linear program in my mind, where some people teach all kinds of things, and it's all sloppy. I don't even teach my plots till I have a perfect sit. I don't even teach plots. I can do a lure plots. I don't even teach the word plots until I have a really good sit. And I know some people teach sit and plots and stay simultaneously. I'm old, and that's what Knut Fuchs said. He said, oh, you're old style. I don't even teach the stand, the stay, till after they shut the door. I don't even teach it. I don't even mess with it. I want over and over them to know the word sit, 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 sit. So I'm not even messing with the stay. I'll get my stay. I'm not worried about that. But so all these steps that I do, it's for my brain. This is why I came up with all this stuff. And Sandy, I don't know if that's kind of how your brain works also, but these are the steps that I did with all my dogs. Every one of them. And this, it all starts right here. Because the pole is a fun place. But guess what I also use the same pole for when they're older? Dumbbells. So this will be negative. But all my early work though, even when dogs are 7, 8 months old, all takes place around the blind. We don't let them in the blind, but it's all around the blind. That is where life begins, blind 6. That's the best place ever. Because I already know I'm gonna have to withdraw. I'm gonna have to do sits. I'm gonna have to foos out when you don't want to foos out. I already know I'm gonna withdraw there. So I just don't do a lot of open field work with the young dogs that are even 8 months old. Even puppies. The handler's in the call-out position. And by the way, we almost always have somebody else on our dog's line. Gowan is always on my line.
He was always on in the beginning with Edgar.
Yes, always. He's on Lori's line when they're young. Then pretty soon you don't need a long line person once they have foos and everything. But these dogs here, so they're always used to me next to them is the best thing in the world. And they're in the call-out. We moved the blind back further so there's some room for the helper. But the helper's moving around the blind with suspicion. He's in the blind. My dog's barking, let me in there, let me in there. Jose will do pray, give a bite, but my dog's used to me next to you is the best thing ever. Ignore me. Ignore everything that I'm doing. And that works well with us because pretty soon I'm going to have to do what? Sit quiet. And now I'm going to have to get on. But what if they have never only had open field work and now I have to put pressure next to the blind for the very first time? That's kind of a place of conflict. I don't want conflict in the blind. I can't tell you how many dogs look when the handler comes around. I want them to say, yay, you're coming. This is great. Actually, you know what's really cool in the trial? If a dog's barking nicely, it'd say it's really nice barking. That dog Argo that I showed you yesterday that won, remember I showed you the score sheet? That dog was actually pretty cool. He was barking, excellent barking. She came around the blind and it got better. I went, yay, smiley face. That was actually, I'm talking about it after hundreds of dogs later because that stuck with me. That dog was no conflict with her. And I think that's important that my work takes place around the blind. Any questions on that? You can get a blind too, you guys. I mean, you can buy one blind.
And what shows this is after a year and a half since he's been 7 months old and I come back